Hello everyone, this is Bloody Bananas. Welcome to a new video. In this video we're going to showcase a team that involves three very interesting Pokemon that have very interesting synergy together. This team was not created by me at all. It was created by a friend of mine whose in-game name is OnionFrank. He's a very strong battler. He's been like the front page every day since the leaderboard was out. He's been as high as rank 2. And also he got to number 12 on the leaderboard with this team. So yeah, definitely a very strong team. So I gave this team a try myself, but I cannot get the success that he had with this team. Obviously we all have different play styles, so I didn't really understand how to play a lot of the matchups, but I still went and gave it a try. It's a very strong team if it lines up correctly sometimes, or if they have the correct Pokemon in the back, just so that you could beat them. But yeah, it looks like to be an ABA team because you have two Pokemon that loses to a Dragon Lead. Because if they have a Dragon Lead, your Medicham loses to it, and your Victreebel will lose to it, right? But I'm actually not sure how to play it out. Let's see. So usually I just take those as a auto loss. But first game we are against Politoed. This is a pretty okay matchup. I do have a pretty hard counter in the back. I might play this wrong as well. I think I go for a Psychic straight up, which I don't think is the right play. But they go for the Weather Ball. They have two Weather Balls right here. I will go for the Psychic. They almost definitely shield that. But I swap into Victreebel, and I did two Razor Leaves. That almost just took it out right there. That was only two Razor Leaves. And the Politoed was already in the red. So, and we also got this Flyer out, which is actually not great for me. I think I'm gonna come out with my Charmer here and just farm. Yep. And I'm just gonna hope that my Medicham could sweep the end game with two shields. Let's see what they have in the back. It all depends on what they have in the back. We're getting some nice farm here with the charms. Let's see. We take two Aerial Aces. We're still at half health. We have two shields. They actually came in with Magnezone, which is really interesting. That means my A9 pretty much had no play here, but I swap into my Medicham. I know that was just a mirror shot, so I just no shielded. They came in back in with the Politoed. I am going to shield this. It's a Weather Ball, and they get to another one again. I'm gonna shield it. I'm just gonna counter down this Politoed. And then I'm just gonna do as much counter damage as possible. But my opponent actually surrendered there. I'm sorry I got cut out, but my opponent actually didn't let me finish off the Politoed. They just decided to give up because they know that they were not gonna get to another Weather Ball, and we were almost gonna get two Power Punches, and we also had a move stored on the A-Ninetales. So they felt like the game was already over. But yeah, so GG to my opponent. Alright, this game against a Hypno. Hypno is pretty good against my entire team. So what I'm going to do is actually going to Power Punch twice, and then I think Psychic will KO. I should actually throw my Power Punches immediately so that my counters do a little bit more damage. I will shield this. Hopefully it's a Shadow Ball, and it is a Shadow Ball. So definitely a huge shield there. It makes sense for my opponent to not bait because they get to two Shadow Balls anyways. But my opponent throws here after 3 confusions. I know this is definitely not a Shadow Ball, so I will no shield it. And it is a Thunder Punch, and I get to the Psychic, which is really huge, which means we get a shield, or we actually beat this Hypno with a Medicham. So they shield, and I'm going to bring my Ninetales and just charm down this Hypno. And let's see what they have in the back. Hopefully, we do have a lot of fast move pressure. That is the whole point of this team. They should bring out Obstagoon. So at that point, I'm thinking they must have another Pokemon that's really weak to A-Ninetales, right? So obviously, I'm going to try to preserve my A-Ninetales. But anyways, this team is pretty much just fast move heavy. You have 3 Pokemon with very strong fast move damages, and Medicham even have power punches, so it's going to do a lot of damage there. They actually have a Scrafty in the back, which is absolutely hilarious because my 2 Charms almost took out the Scrafty. With the Weather Ball, I can now Razor Leaf down the Scrafty before he even gets to a Foul Play. And then my Victreebel just fast move down their entire team right there. So good game, well played to my opponent here. We are against the little Ninetales. They have Charm, so I'm going to instant swap into my Ninetales. That's generally how you want to play out this matchup. You just want to go into your mirror with your own Ninetales if they have a Charmer in the lead. So here we're against a Politoed. I'm just going to go for this Weather Ball to chip it down. My opponent may or may not shield. My opponent doesn't shield, which is probably the smart play. I'm going to shield here. This might be a misplay actually, because I think the correct play is actually letting Politoed take me out there, and then so that I can farm down with my Medicham. But yeah, this is definitely a misplay. Yeah, because now I have 0 shields, and without any shields, Ninetales can take out a Victreebel very easily. I tried to store a move and just go into my Medicham here. Again, I don't know what I was doing here. Terrible misplay, I think. Because now I'm just going to get charmed down, and I think my opponent will almost get to a move there. And I go for the Power Punch because I know I wasn't going to get to the Psychic. And this is just terrible all around. Let's see. I bring out my Medicham, hoping that they don't get to on the Weather Ball. But as you guys are going to see, they actually had enough energy and they just get it off. And then I die without even seeing their third Pokemon. Okay, next up we're against Bronzong. So obviously I'm not familiar with this team, and my playstyle may not suit this team at all. So I definitely make a lot of misplays, like not optimal plays. Here I'm gonna go for this Power Punch against a Bronzong. Bronzong, again, a very strong Pokemon against my team. Actually beats all 3 of my Pokemon very hard. So I have to just stay in with Medicham. Even if it means I'm going down 2 shields, I just have to save my Medicham here. Yep, I'm just going to 2 shield, and I'm just going to try to counter down this Bronzong. I basically have no other play here. They swap into Politoed. Well, I have perfect answer for that, which is my Victreebel. So I just come out with my Victreebel and chunking down the Politoed. They use the Earthquake to take us out, which is fine because now I just farm down with my Medicham. Let's see if they bring back the Bronzong. If they do, I'm going to farm down. Or if they have another Pokemon in the back, we're about to see. So they bring back the Bronzong. Obviously, I'm going to farm it down. I have almost 3 Power Punches here. My opponent shields the first one, which arguably is a mistake on their side. But then I go for another Power Punch. My opponent is smart about not shielding that one, and then I get off a 3rd Power Punch, and my opponent has to shield. I'm gonna stay in just because my counter damage is so ramped up here. It just chunks away the Vigroth, so I just stayed in there to do as much counter damage as possible. Here he does have 2 Body Slams, but 2 Body Slams does not KO a Ninetales, and he knows that, so he tried to build up for 1 more, but he wasn't able to get to a 3rd Body Slam, so we're able to charm down there. Very good game. Coming back from a very tough lead, I guess. Alright, this is a really good lead against Diggersby, and we have a really perfect swapping as well. Basically, we have 2 counters to the Diggersby. We have a Victreebel and we have a Medicham. And also, we're having a pretty hard counter, Ninetales versus this Mandibuzz, right? Perfect counters. We can just charm this all the way down without even throwing a move. So we have 2 moves stored. This perfect scenario. They almost definitely have to shield the Weather Ball as well against well, if they came in with Diggersby, but they're very smart. They didn't come in with Diggersby, right? But I'm gonna just throw these Weather Balls. My opponent shields the second one anyways. I'm gonna go into my Medicham because I know my Medicham beats both of these Pokemon, right? I might just go in here and start ramping up my Power Punches like here. And I know that my opponent doesn't really want to go into Diggersby in this case, because then I'm just going to even ramp up a little bit more. I'm going to shield this. This Fortress is almost dead. My Medicham is looking very nice to sweep this end game here. I'm going to go for this Power Up Punch to ramp up even more. My Medicham counters are absolutely chunking at this point. The 4th Power Up Punch we got to on our Medicham. This will do a huge amount of damage. They actually ended up shielding there, which was pretty much necessary in my opinion. Here I'm not going to shield. It's probably a Fire Punch. It is a Fire Punch, so obviously I'm just going to chunk him down, and my opponent recognizes they can't even take out my Medicham, and that's pretty much game over. Next game, we have Medicham Nidoqueen. Okay, this player, I played him so many times. He's such a strong player, and he has a double dark flying in the back. So they have Mandibuzz, and then they have as you guys are going to see, they have a Vullaby XL in the back as well. I think I showcased my battle against this trainer in my previous video of Shadow Dragonite as well. I just battled this trainer like every day, and he always has this team, which is a very strong team. His team pretty much auto loses to Double Charm, but against any team other than Double Charm, he has a very strong team. So they come in, we charm down their Mandibuzz, but I know they have another dark flying type. So I actually want to save my A-Ninetales right here. I'm going to throw this Weather Ball to force a shield from my opponent Nidoqueen. And then I'm going to actually swap out right here into my Medicham because I had a Psychic stored against opponent Nidoqueen, right? So now they're going to get a move. I recognize that I can't really shield anything here, so I just let it go. I'm trying to get to the next Psychic, but my opponent swaps out before we could get to the Psychic. I'm going to throw the Power Punches against this Vullaby, which I expected in the back. So now I still have my A-Ninetales to deal with this Vullaby because my Shadow Victreebel is very, very bad against it, right? My opponent throws energy right here, which is perfect for me because now I have a win condition, which is just to Razor Leaf down this flying bird, build up to a Razor Leaf. Actually, no, build up to a Leaf Blade so I can throw my Leaf Blade against Nidoqueen, which does neutral damage. And we're Shadow, they're Shadow. We're both very attack heavy Pokemon. This should KO. He actually wasn't running a Shadow one, but very attack heavy Pokemon. So GG to my opponent. Very, very close at the end there. So Deoxys leads, very, very tough. I didn't know how to play Deoxys leads generally, but what I heard from Frank is that I should go into my A-Ninetales right away. But yeah, I think I probably misplayed this by staying here and just going for Power Punches because I really wasn't sure what to do at this point. I didn't have any experience with this team, so I was very confused on what I needed to do here. So obviously my opponent can just go for, he went for a Psycho Boost first, and then he went for the Thunderbolt, which is a very weird play. I think he wanted to swap maybe, but I went for 2 Power Punches, and now I go for a Psychic. I actually got a shield from my opponent, which is pretty perfect for me. He went for a Psycho Boost, so I know he probably wants to swap out. And then they swap into a Vigroth. Okay, so I think I should have swapped out right here. But also, I'm very worried that they could have a Registeel in the back, which makes me really regret my decision earlier to staying with my Medicham, because a lot of times with this team, you actually have to swap out, even in a bad matchup, or even if your matchup in the back is also bad against the lead, but you have to draw out the Registeel. Because Registeel will absolutely destroy your backline of Shadow Victreebel and A-Ninetales, right? So here, I'm going to shield this. I have to shield against Deoxys here, which is very unfortunate. But I couldn't really stay in there. But it's actually an Obstagoon in the back. And I would be really sad if I lose this game. Because my A-Ninetales, if I just swapped out earlier, I could have won this game as well. I just thought that maybe they had a Registeel in the back. But yeah, I think this is pretty terrible play by me. if I just swapped out into my Shadow Victreebel when they came into the Vigroth, I think I could just save my A-Ninetales here and just win the game. But because they aggressively swapped, it made me think that they might have another counter to my A-Ninetales. But yeah, definitely a very bad play by me. Okay, here we have Medicham against a Medicham. And this matchup, I like to go for Psychic first, but it depends on the player. If I know the player, I might try to make a different play. But here I'm going to go for the Psychic. Hopefully it lands. It does land. Does ton of damage. We got a defense fail. I'm not going to shield because I know I win this matchup now. And they Power Punch bait me, which is fine. They came in with the Ninetales. I'm just going to farm down with my Shadow Victreebel. I shield once. I'm going to farm all the way down and come out with the move on my Shadow Victreebel. And this is looking very, very nice. Unless they have a Pokemon that just completely hard counters my my whole team, which is possible. But let's see what they have. They came out with Medicham. I'm going to go for this Acid Spray because I know for certain that my opponent is probably going to shield this. Otherwise their Medicham is just going to die with a lot of energy. I also tried to get the CMP tie right here, which is very important. So now my opponent pretty much has no energy on the Medicham. I bring out the Charmer. They have a Charmer in the back as well. So it all comes down to the Medicham versus Medicham in the back. I'm just really glad that we got the Charmer out. And now I just came in with the Medicham here to finish off Wigglytuff, and it's game over. So yeah, the mirror lead was very important there. And then we also had a Victreebel, which was a good answer to their Charmer, right? Okay, next up. Okay, this player, I play him a lot as well. He also runs the same team almost every day. But yeah, Pelipper, I just swap into my Shadow Victreebel right away, which is actually a really bad play. There's definitely a better play, but I'm gonna go for this Leaf Blade on the CMP tie, so that at least we get even shields, which is very important for me. So now I can come back in with the Medicham and then just farm down with a lot of energy saved up on my Medicham. Let's see. Yep, so I do come in with Medicham. He's not going to get to another move. I have some energy stored. Let's see where he comes back into. I think I make a misplay again. I think I go for straight Psychic here. I think I should have just gone for straight Power Punches because I could just start ramping up. But going for Psychic is fine. They didn't shield it anyways. I know I survived this. Unless it's a Blizzard. It's actually just a Mud Bomb. So yep, I know I survived that. I go for a Power Punch right here. My opponent doesn't shield, so I'm going to try to just counter down this Whiscash. But I think my opponent swaps. My opponent swaps into their own Medicham. I'm going to have to count their counters. So there's only 5 counters. I know this for certain is a Power Punch. So there's no way I'm shielding this. And I know that my Charmer will do more damage than their counter. Again, this is 5 counters. So I'm not going to shield it because I know it's a Power Punch, right? And now all I have to do is charm down his entire team. Whiscash comes back in and I do 3 charms to take out the Whiscash, to take the win. We both had a shield remaining. Yeah, I didn't want to shield because if I shielded the first Power Punch, then my lose condition is for them to land the Psychic later and I will lose the game. Here we're against a Haunter. Haunter beats my entire team as well. So what I'm going to do is very similar to what I did last time, right? I think I come in with the Victreebel and I go for this Leaf Blade. I should lose CMP tie, so I'm just going to lose this matchup down a shield. This is very, very terrible. But what I'm going to do is come back in with Medicham and then farm down this Haunter. Just like last game. Farm down something that counters you. Farm it down. I took so much damage. They had a Ninetales in the back. I'm going to go for this Psychic. It's going to do a lot of damage. Let's see. Yep, they didn't shield, which is perfect for me. And then we got a defense fell. And it turned out they had an Obstagoon in the back, which is hilarious. So I'm not going to shield the first one. So they're going to get 2 moves anyways. In case they go for a Night Slash boost, I'm going to no shield the first one, right? And then get to another move here. I'm going to have to shield it. It's another nice slash, but their Pokemon is way too low here. That it almost died to 1 charm, and I think because they threw energy here, their Pokemon is gonna die to 1 counter, and they're gonna lose the game with 2 shields remaining. So yep, that's what happens when you're running this team with very strong fast move pressure, right? Here again, we're against the A-Ninetales. He does have charm, so I'm gonna swap into my charmer. They came in with Politoed. I feel like I've seen this team already, but last time this team had I don't remember, but I feel like I've seen this team already. I'm gonna go for Weather Balls again. I'm not even shielding here. Interesting. Do I know that I survived this? I do survive it. I recognize that I probably don't get to the side shock, so I just go for this Weather Ball, hoping to chip it down into farm down range for my Medicham. What I can do here is again farm down, because Psychic will do a lot of damage even against the Charmers. So what I'm going to do is just farm with the counter all the way down here. Again, no shielding this. Let's see. Weather Ball still chunks, but my Medicham doesn't do much against their Charmer Ninetales anyways, right? So just go for the Psychic. They do shield. I go back into my Victreebel. Now I just have to try to raise a leaf down their entire team. This might be a game that I massively misplayed, but let's see. I'm hoping my opponent doesn't get to another one, and he doesn't. So they actually had a Medicham of their own. I know that my opponent will very likely to shield this. So I throw the Acid Spray. So now their defense is failed. I'm going to try to farm down. I actually shield here. I think the safer play is probably let this go. Definitely letting that go would be safer. But I just raise a leaf down and simultaneously KO'd, and I had a Medicham in the back, so I won that game. Here we're against a Forrtress. They swap into DD instantly. Okay, this is where I misplayed. When they swap into DD, I need to get out of here like right away. But I'm staying for some reason. I need to go into my A-Ninetales right away because yeah. And I go into my Victreebel. This is very cringe for me to watch. So obviously my Victreebel and my A-Ninetales both have very bad matchup against their Fortress, but I need to ensure switch advantage, right? Also, I can't give so much energy to this Deoxys, so I give him so much energy that he gets off another Psycho Boost right here, so I have to use double shield, and this game is pretty much over. There's almost no coming back from here, and I go for an Acid Spray. There's almost no reason my opponent shields this, so my opponent doesn't shield, which is the correct play. And now I have no shields. This game is pretty much over. I also lagged there. I couldn't swap out. I really wanted to swap out, but I lagged a little bit. My opponent actually shields there, so I go for another Psychic. I might get a shield here. I do get a double shield, and I realized that was pretty much game over, so I just leave the matchup. Alright, here we're against, again, I play this trainer like a lot of times, and I think I lose to him quite a lot recently. So this matchup, because they don't have Charm, I should stay in this matchup. Without Charm, this is a pretty good matchup for Medicham, and also I think maybe I should have baited there, but this is fine. So they go for a move right here. I'm betting it's not a Dazzling Gleam, and then I go into my Ninetales. This is a terrible play by me, because my Victreebel is very weak to their Ice type, right? And they come back in with the Deoxys. And this game is already not looking great, because I feel like my Shadow Victreebel so far has nowhere to go. And against their Ice type, Shadow Victreebel is going to have a really tough time. Deoxys has a Thunderbolt, and then it farms me down. This is really, really bad for me already. I'm going to go into my Medicham, hoping to just soak up this damage, but I really should shield here as well. Do I shield? I do shield, because I know I survived the second Psycho Boost, I think. This is not looking like a good game for me right now. I'm going to farm down. I do have a Psychic, so I think I'm just going to blind throw the Psychic. Yep, and then they have a Mew in the back, which is a very tough team for my line. Double Psychic in the back, because now this Mew is going to get to a move, and I cannot shield this, right? I can't shield this. I just have to hope. Yeah, I just have to hope that it was a surf, because if I shield there, they're gonna get to a move with their A-Ninetales, and a nice weather ball will also KO me anyways, right? So well played by my opponent. Here, Toxicroak, very good matchup for me. I also have a charm in the back to deal with this Toxicroak. So here I go for a bait because it's so risky for my opponent not to bait. I also know that I do survive the first one. Yep, they actually bait me with a Mud Bomb, which is very interesting. But I'm gonna go for this Power Punch. We actually get a shield, which is perfect. I'm gonna try to land the next Psychic. I'm gonna shield this one because Sludge Bomb will kill us from this range. He actually goes for straight Mud Bomb. It's okay. They go into Altaria. I save up my Psychic, and then I go into my A-Ninetales just to charm down all the way against this Altaria. He might get to another Sky Attack, but that's so fine by me because I know I survived this one. And I'm gonna come out of this matchup with the move of Weather Ball, and now I have very little health for my opponent to farm me with. I go for this Side Shock because it will KO this Toxicroak, force my opponent to shield. I still have a Psychic. I know my opponent is not at a move, so I go for the Psychic. And this should be enough to take out the Toxicroak. And then they had a Whiscash in the back, so I just Razor Leaf down this in 6 Razor Leaves against this Whiscash. I just shielded there just in case, but I know that one Mud Bomb actually doesn't take me out there. Alright, next matchup, we have Medicham versus Deoxys yet again. So here, okay, I still didn't learn this, but I think the correct play is actually just go into your Charmer here. But I don't make the correct play. I stay in, I go for the Power Punches, hoping to land a Psychic after going for 2 Power Punches. But what Deoxys can do here is go for 3 Psycho Boosts, and then just KO your Medicham in the 0 shield, which is really terrible for me. As you guys are going to see, my opponent has double Psycho Boost right here, and it's definitely going to KO my Deoxys. Let's see. Yep, very smart play by my opponent. Maybe I should have shielded the first one, but I don't get to the Psychic. I don't have the best IVs on my Medicham. Otherwise, I think maybe we could have gotten to it, but unfortunately, that's not the case. They have a Jellicent in the back. I have a perfect counter in my Victreebel. So this game might not be over unless they have a Registeel. If they have a Registeel in the back, which is very possible, then this game is pretty much over. They actually have 2 Pokemon weak to Sableye in the lead and in the back, Jellicent and Deoxys. So that was very interesting. I'm going to shield whatever they throw here. It's a Psycho Boost, obviously. I'm going to Razor Leaf down, and it all depends on what my opponent has in the back. It's actually a Diggersby. So I might actually win this game if I could survive this and get to the Leaf Blade. Can we get to the Leaf Blade? No, we can't. Okay. So now I need to land a Weather Ball here in order to win. I need to survive 2 Fire Punches. Again, I think if I had just slightly better IVs on my A-Ninetales, I would have won this game, because as you guys are gonna see, I actually lived with just a little bit of health. But if I had better IVs on my A-Ninetales, I would have had a little bit more HP right here, and I would have probably lived the Mud Shot and then get to another Ice Weather Ball, because I was only 1 charm away from getting to it. But that's what you deal with when you don't have the most optimal IVs. So here we got a really good lead against A-Abomasnow, and then we have really good safe swapping against their Medicham. I'm going to no-shield this. Psychic, again, I think this is where IVs come into play. I actually can't tank a Psychic on my A-Ninetales, but fortunately my opponent doesn't shield her, so that they didn't go for the switch advantage, because I think switch advantage would actually matter here. But I chunk down this Abomasnow, I go back into my Medicham. I know there's switch locked in, so I didn't even wait the switch timer. I just go into my Medicham, and they actually have a Jellicent in the back. Again, perfect answer for me with Shadow Victreebel. But this game is not over, right? This game is not over. What they can do is try to farm me down and then get to 2 weather balls, and then that will be enough to take out my Medicham. So what I have to do is land this, go for this acid spray, and then just try to simultaneously KO or KO him before he gets us, and then we simultaneously KO. And I still had a Medicham in the back, so I was able to take that game, take that win, but very, very close game actually. Here against the Charm lead, going into my Charmer just to mirror. They go into a Vigroth. I am going to get this Weather Ball. This will force my opponent to shield, or will get it very low. My opponent does shield. That's very good for me, because now I just let my A-Ninetales go. I should actually stop attacking here, just so that I can get a little bit more farm with my Medicham. That was definitely a terrible misplay by me. So now I go into my Medicham, and then I'm gonna get just 3 counters with the farm. But if it had higher health, I could have farmed way more. But this is fine because they would got into one more body slam if it had more health. So, but then they come into a Scrafty. They're down a shield. This is actually looking really, really good for me. I do have my Shadow Victreebel. I actually shielded a Power Punch. I think that was a kind of misplay, but I need to get this shield from my opponent right here. And I do get the shield, so I make a huge misplay here. I should not shield this. This is a Power Punch. What I can do here is let it go and then farm down and then throw the Psychic to win this game. But I make this game a lot closer than it should be, because now it's actually a race. I almost died to the Charm. We got to just 1 Charm before, and we got to the Psychic to finish out my opponent. But that was actually a really, really close game in the end. We could definitely lost that game because some of the misplays. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the battles. I definitely did not play the best, because this is not my team. It doesn't really fit my playstyle, because I don't really know how to play a matchup where you have a Pokemon weak to their Pokemon in the lead, and you have a Pokemon that's weak to their lead in the back. So you're forced to stay in the lead matchup even though it's a losing matchup. But I gave it a try. I had a little bit of success after a little bit, because at first I was making a lot of mistakes, but then I started to learn it and I played a little bit better, and I had a little bit of success. I have some 4-1 sets. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the battles. If you like this team, you could give it a try. There are people out there, you know, making really, really good success with this team. So if you learn it well, maybe you'll be there as well. So I hope you guys enjoy the battles. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys in my next video.